music, athletics, arts, and entertainment. The Desert Tiger Podcast with Colton Geschwadner.
Celtic Punk is a brand of music as storied as many of the traditional songs and tales that many of the bands who play it present to you. Some say it was a natural progression from earlier folk and Celtic rock bands like the Dubliners, and for some the sound was just a natural fit. The Pogues out in London, England were quite possibly the first punk band to truly use the Celtic sound by incorporating traditional instruments in their music. Sure, it had been done in rock before, and various bands have covered old Celtic songs over the years, but the combination of Celtic music and punk has this special way of melding, and has grown from the streets of London to reach its fans far and wide. Just like the lands it travels from, its influence has reached many people and helped lead to North America's own brand of Celtic punk. Like their forefathers before them, these bands sang tales of their ancestors and the lands that they lived in, drinking and partying, politics, the culture around them, religion, and taking pride in an honest day's work. Born in Vancouver, British Columbia, the Real McKenzies have been sharing their tales of Canada, Scotland, and the lives that they have lived on the road for 25 years now. Although there has truly only been one constant in the band, that being vocalist and leader of this crew of kilt-wearing wanderers, Paul McKenzie. The group has managed to maintain its sound and vision from their self-titled debut release up until their most recent release, Two Devils Will Talk, despite the numerous member changes that are said to be in the triple digits, the years of experience under the band's belt, and the good and bad times that can come with sharing your craft around the world. 25 years later, the band still keeps its energy and passion. Maybe it's the leadership of this crew's captain, or maybe it's the fact that the band now includes members that were once listening to that very self-titled debut EP. People who are growing up, just like myself, dancing along to the bagpipes and guitars as they melded together, or shouting along with the gang vocals. I myself have seen the McKenzies perform quite a few times, mostly back at a venue that was once known as McNally's in Regina, Saskatchewan. The venue was a perfect fit for the McKenzies, as it not only fit the Scottish vibe, but was also a great place for partying, drinking, and dancing. Unfortunately, the venue is no longer known as McNally's, but thankfully it is still used for live music and is being operated under the name The Revival Music Room by Taryn Cochran and some other fantastic individuals who are keeping the scene alive in Regina. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Desert Tiger Podcast. And it is episode 14 with me, your host, Colton Geschwadner. Today on the show is Paul McKenzie and Dan Garrison from the Real McKenzies. Before we start our interview, though, let's crank up some Real McKenzies with a track off Two Devils Will Talk. This song is one that kind of hits close to home in the fact that it speaks about a place that was actually very close to where I grew up, and Dan himself actually wasn't too far away from it as well. The song is told from the point of view from a patient of the Surrey Valley Mental Health Hospital that was once located in Weyburn, Saskatchewan, and was experimenting in different methods of treatment for psychiatric things and addictions, including using LSD on the patients and even some of the staff. But the hospital was ultimately shut down in the 60s due to the state of the economy at the time, unfortunately. But without wasting any more of your time, let's get into Weyburn. Hello, my friend, it's me.
Desert Tiger Podcast.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. All right, we are here with two of the members of the Real McKenzies. Please introduce yourselves and what you do inside the band, please.
My name is Paul McKenzie of the Real McKenzies, and I'm a lead vocalist.
My name is Dan Garrison of the Real McKenzies, and I play guitar and dance around like a fool.
And the vocalist.
And vocals.
Yeah. So that's
Gang
guitar.
vocals or...
Harmonies and backups and stuff like that.
Okay, so you guys are a pretty historic band for Canadian punk, I would say.
Historical or hysterical?
I could say you would fit under both definitions.
I think so too. But seriously, folks, yeah, it's been over 25 years. We've been beating a trail, and along with a bunch of other great bands from Canada and stuff.
Oh, yes.
You know, they still remain unnamed, but you know who they are. But yeah, it's a real honor to keep on going, and we've got our help. You know, great lineup, very stilt-worthy and honest, hardworking. What could be better?
Definitely. So, what sort of led to the start of the Real McKenzies? Like, you guys have like a Celtic Punk sound that's very definitive. Like, how did you guys end up settling on that? How did the band get its beginning?
Well, the band got its beginning because I wanted an excuse to wear a kilt on stage. And we started out by just playing cover stuff, like, and we changed the lyrics to the Scottish motif. So slowly the bandmates, you know, they got tired of it, and we got someone else, and we became more serious after about a year. And we recorded our first album thinking that we would not record another one, but we wanted to record an album because we thought that nobody would have believed that we were a band.
Yeah.
But here's the proof. So after we did that, we were going to break up, but nobody would let us. Our parents would not let us break up. So we just went on tour and did another album, and it just sort of snowballed after that.
Yeah. That's pretty fantastic. So, like, you guys were one of the original breaking bands, like, in the 90s for Canada. Like, you guys played a lot of, like, Warped Tours.
Oh, yeah.
Like, tell me something about, like, the stories from the early years, like the road. Like, do you have any good stories from the road? Like, any hard times, any bad times?
How much time do you have?
Yeah, 25 years of thrills, chills, and spills. There's a lot of great stories and some tragic stories about like losing band members and you know, tragedy on the road, you know. Well, there was one time when we were playing Bumper Shoot, and we had this thing called the Scottish Lap Shake. And when there was a security person at the front of the stage that was misbehaving, so I ended up throwing my kilt over his head. His arms go up, my arms go up, and everybody started laughing. And then I took my kilt out from his head, and everyone's laughing at the guy. And he, you know, he's up to me saying, "If you ever humiliate me like that again," I says, "Well, maybe you should do your job properly and stop beating up little kids, and it won't happen to you."
Yeah, no doubt, right?
You know, these guys that take their security world to the extreme. And
no, exactly. It's a status thing, and I'm a big tough guy.
Yeah, one of the things that I notice is that when kids are stage diving and surfing, and they come over the barrier, in North America, the security guards rough them up. In Europe, they gently take them off stage so that they can go again.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's a
I
lot
don't know what that whole North American attitude is. Like when kids get up on stage, sometimes the band members do violence to them, like, "Get off my stage." But in Europe, it's not like that at all. You know, kids are up there, and you just have to fan them through it and sort of pretend they're not there. Sometimes they hit your mic. Sometimes they fuck shit up.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's not a malicious thing.
like generally they're just trying to have fun, right? Like they're not trying to harm anybody.
Exactly.
Usually it's just like to get involved and have a little more fun, like spread the energy, right?
Yeah, like 99% of the time it's super harmless and everybody's just having a good time.
Oh, definitely. That's it. It's like it's an outlet, right? Like we're letting out energy. We're letting out all the bad stuff through a good, safe method, and somehow we're hiring people to monitor it who don't understand that.
Yeah, and those are the wrong people. They have to remember that without those kids, there would be no gig.
Oh, exactly, right?
And there'd be no job. There'd be nothing.
Exactly. Like they sit there and they think, "Oh, big deal, tough me," but it's those kids are the heart of it all, right? I mean, they're gonna carry it.
And there are old people out there too, you know.
Oh, of course. There's a ton of old people out there that are still carrying the old guard and the old shield.
Well, you know,
alive.
Quite often we'll look out into the audience and there will be 4 generations of punk rockers. You know, the tiny ones, the mother, and their mother and father.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. It gives me faith for the future when I see that. But we are, I understand, in the grand scale of things, we are the minority in terms of music.
Yeah.
Like the big stuff is all hip-hop and stuff like this. And a lot of kids, they don't listen to rock and roll anymore. Or they don't go out to shows because they're stuck on their computer or something.
Oh, exactly. Or they're sitting at home watching Netflix, or sitting on Facebook, or watching bands on YouTube instead of actually watching it themselves.
So that just means that we have to work harder.
Yeah, of course.
I grew up all over the prairies. Like I was born in Manitoba, but I lived in Saskatchewan and Alberta my whole life. And because there was nothing to do, that's why I went to so many shows. And like that's what saved my life. Like just because there's nothing to do, and that's why punk was so accessible. Even though, you know, there's 2 other people in every class that you have that might listen to it or hear the band. Definitely in the minority, but it was just like, no, you had something that was yours. It was concrete, and every time they came through town, that's what you were doing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I grew up on a farm outside of Regina, and that was the main thing, where it's like, even before I had a license, where it's like, Mom, like, drive me to the city, drop me off, this is a fun show, and it's like, it's actually something to do and something to get excited for, and you listen to music and you get amped up for it, and it's so much more exciting than just absolutely nothing that's going on in the prairies, you know?
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like, and then like the music that's a lot of the music that's made inside of the prairies is reflective of that prairie life. It's
great.
Slow. It's great for what it is, but some people need a little bit more than that, you know?
I was saying it's great. I think on the other side, because there's nothing to do. That's where because there's some extreme music out in the prairies.
Yeah.
Because it's the reflection, I think, of their favorite bands. You know what I mean?
Well,
and that's why some of it is just vicious and it's awesome.
Some like the bands that actually make it out of the prairies are fantastic. Like From Your Propagandy and
my favorite band,
Comeback Kid, like all those guys, like.
Personality Crisis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
Great.
That's it. It's just like the bands that actually like come from those places and that actually make it out of there. Like to come from a place that actually doesn't have a supportive crowd for the type of music that you play, and to have the drive and the heart to make it out of there.
Well, it's typical of Canada, the hometown syndrome.
Yeah.
It's happening to us here. We play 1 gig a year here.
Oh really?
Yeah. And we're from here, essentially.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just the way it is. We're under contract, and so we have to check with our booking agency before we can do anything.
Oh wow.
Back in the day, you know, I used to book everything.
Yeah.
And so I was free. And since we signed contracts with some companies, we're under contract. And so I just can't go and book a gig with somebody.
Okay,
I have to run it through
so
them.
is that like sort of when you guys sign to like larger labels like Rec or?
Well, it's not so much the label, it's our booking agency here in Canada.
Okay. So they just sort of want to give the okay on if a show is
they're protecting their investment in terms of us not overplaying.
Okay, That's
So,
fair enough. You
yeah.
have to brand yourself correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very
But
big part of
it
it.
wasn't like that in the early days. So we'd make our own posters, book our own gigs, and take our own money.
Yeah.
But in the large scale of things, it's in terms of bigger gigs across the whole country and America, it works out for the better.
Without a doubt.
Well, because even when because in high school I used to listen to the Real McKenzies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And but it was always few and far between, unless it was like a Warped Tour or something like that I'd see you guys.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
it was usually. I mean, even then, that was still once a year.
And even
Right.
then, like, man, that was back when Warped Tour was coming through Canada. Like,
Yeah.
it's like they haven't hit anywhere like Calgary or Central Canada in a long, long time. How sad is it that that's kind of falling to the wayside too?
Yeah, it used to be where I could go watch, my favorite bands play.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I'd know a band that was playing on it anymore.
Yeah, it's completely different nowadays.
It is. It's a completely different scene, and it's like next year is going to be the last year of the festival entirely.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's going to be the last time that they actually do like a full tour of America.
Okay.
Apparently they're going to try and do just like Central after that, because apparently they just can't support it anymore, and it's.
With the price of gasoline alone,
I know, right?
let alone anything else.
Yeah, it makes like the cost of traveling. It makes touring really hard these days, for sure.
Oh yeah, a lot of people take that for granted. So let's travel from here to Halifax and back with a van full of gear and guys,
Yeah,
and see how much money we spend on gasoline
yeah, and food,
and accommodation.
and beer.
Yeah, it really adds up.
Oh, it really does.
Canada's, obviously so spread out, right? I mean, for the major spots to hit, you're looking at what, 10, 12, maybe.
In Canada,
If you cover the whole place, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
For those big clubs, where Warped Tour or something like that will be. You know what I mean? Because what was it? I don't know. It was a couple of years back. I saw an advertisement, and they were doing like 4 Canadian dates or something like that. I'm
yeah.
like, that's a weird way to do it. You know what I mean? But
Well, it's just so far in between too that it's like you almost have to take gigs just to pay for the gas money. I mean, like the drive in between Winnipeg and Ontario,
Yeah.
16 goddamn hours.
and it's also really difficult. When we were doing the Warped Tour, you have to sign in at a particular time,
Yeah.
or you don't get to play.
Oh,
So
really?
that means you play, you pack up, you do the night drive, and compete with all of the nightliners that have professional drivers. And here we are, a band with maybe 2 or 3 rotating drivers, and trying to keep up with this stuff. I mean, night after night after night is quite difficult.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, because they actually have like you have to be here at this time. Like, they want you to do press. Like these other
You gotta
things.
kiss particular ass if you want a kiosk for your merch. I remember one time.
Paul's not very good at kissing ass.
Oh, that's.
He's not
It's-
very good at all.
It's,
See,
yeah,
kissing ass is not very punk, so I can stand behind that.
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Pretty
that's-
funny. It's pretty funny.
We get other people to deal with that.
Yeah.
But there was one time when we were in California on the Warped Tour, and we ran into the guy who. Okay, we were playing the solar stage, and he wanted to move us up to the main stage, but our drummer and guitar player had better things to do. They blew out. He got pissed off, put us back to the solar stage, and when we went to ask for a table, he said, "Yeah, you can have the kiosk, but you don't get no table." Thanks. So our European manager and I, the next thing we were out of the compound, across the street, we got this old table with 2 legs broken off on it,
Yeah.
and a broken wheelbarrow. So we bring it back, we put the wheelbarrow under one end,
Yeah.
throw a tarp over it, and here we've got our table. And the guy who would not give us a table just to screw us over, he's walking by and he looks again. He says, "Where did you get that table?" I said, "We got it from the garbage over there." He says, "You're bringing garbage into my show?" And I says, "Look, we'll do whatever we have to do to sell our merch."
Oh, exactly. Like, we have to survive here, right?
Exactly. But this is the attitude of the whole Warped Tour. Like, you have to bow down to the pharaohs of the staff. And if you do that, it's no problem. But if you don't, it was a problem. I don't know how it is nowadays, but...
Well, maybe that's why they moved away from punk music.
Probably.
They probably had too many problems with people not wanting to bow down.
You couldn't pay me to do a Warped Tour nowadays.
Well, that's it. It's like, they don't want you to mosh. They don't want you to do, like... Are you
serious?
Oh, yeah. Like, it was back in, like, 2016
years,
or 2015. They started posting, like...
No
banners
mosh pits?
at it where it's like no mosh pits, because it's like you mosh, someone gets hurt, we get sued was literally what was on the banner.
Oh my god, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, it's like, how are you supposed to have like this festival for up and coming like bands that are of heavier genres and alternative genres and all this other stuff, and it's like, oh, we want you to stand still and just watch it.
There's no way I'm standing still for Bad Religion. No way. That's not
Not
happening.
a chance,
There's no
right?
way.
Like, no FX comes on, there's like, I'm running in a circle like a maniac. Like, that's what I'm doing. I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's all changing. And in the long run, in the larger spectrum of things, change is good.
Yeah.
But in terms of what they're trying to pull off with that particular Warped Tour,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work for them. I think they're going to disappear pretty soon.
Well, that's it. It's like I said, they're becoming a shell of themselves, where they're only going to do central shows, and even then, like, how long is that going to last if the model's falling apart?
Yep, world's going to hell in a handbasket.
Oh.
Let's go. Woo!
Grab a couple road beers for the long way.
Yeah. But in terms of the Real McKenzies, we're doing okay. Great lineup. We're going to be working on a new album really soon. We're in woodshedding with new material right now.
So you guys are currently writing?
Yep. And we'll be, I think, Australia's maybe happening. We have U.S. gigs, a few of them. We've got a Western Canadian tour in March. We've got a European tour in August and September. And then when we get back from that, we'll be going straight to the studio for pre-production and recording.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's basically our roster.
That'll be ready. 2019, probably March will be the release date.
Okay, yeah, you guys just recently released an album, didn't you?
The 25th year anniversary.
Yeah, and we got a gold album from Bound Records for record sales.
Really?
Yeah, they gave us a nice little plaque with album in it and stuff. And
Is that your first time receiving anything like that?
oh no,
No?
I met a few with other bands before, but I don't have them.
Yeah.
People have taken them at parties and stuff like that. Taken them home. I've had the most interesting things stolen from me at house parties.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's not like if you're walking around with something like that, you can't be like, no, it's mine.
Yeah.
I think what the motivation was, these guys come into my house, they steal things and sell it for dough.
Yeah.
I think this is the motivation.
I'll tell my mom not to come to your house anymore. Sorry about that.
She just really needed milk money and
Yeah.
break down the door.
Yep.
It's okay. I mean, I've had a picture of Jesus stolen from my house, but thankfully no gold records.
Boy, that's kind of going against the whole philosophy of it, isn't it? I stole this picture of Jesus.
Well, it was at my cousin's house, and we threw a party, and somebody decided to walk out with Jesus that night.
Have you seen?
I wonder what
Have you
alcohol
seen
about.
Passion of the Christ, the movie?
No, I haven't.
Spoiler alert: he dies in the end.
Of course.
Anyways, no, I just.
What? No!
I read the book, so
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. It's so much better in the book. They skipped a lot of parts, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So over the years of like different members and
We've been over 100 members.
over 100 members.
We've broken over 100 men.
Oh wow, that's quite the cavalry.
Well, you know,
recruited.
people leave the band for various reasons. Some of them want to get a real job. Some of them want to, get a family. Some of them want to stay away from readily available drugs and alcohol, and they don't trust themselves, and they go into rehab. Sometimes it's personal problems. Sometimes it's there's a whole vast arena of reasons that people come and go from bands.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy with the lineup we have now. Everybody's very proficient, very energetic. The music comes first.
Yes.
We have much respect for everyone around us, bandmates and all the staff and all the fans and everything. It's like Christmas every day
That's good.
compared to what I've been through.
Okay, so like has the writing process changed at all over the years,
No.
like musically or
Not really.
no?
No. Everybody will. The last album, Dan took the helm on most of it
Okay.
because we were indisposed. But this next one, everybody brings something to the table, and we hash it out.
Nice. That's
And
good.
put the ego in the back pocket. If this material doesn't really fit the criterion of what we're trying to do right now, put it in your back pocket. It might be used later.
Yeah.
But what we want is collectively, we're all looking in the same direction, and we want what's best for the band.
That's good. It's good to have everybody who has the same idea in mind and wants the best for the group.
Yeah, like and it's easy to work with these guys because and Paul said it right with the ego in the back pocket, because it's best idea wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's nothing. It's not personal. It's not anything. It's just like, no, is this a better idea right here? Yay or nay? Yeah. Then we're
Pick
using
what's
that.
best.
Yeah. And you move on, and it makes things super fluid.
Oh yeah, I've had serious coach kicking with T-shirt designs that weren't acceptable, or particular songs that were submitted that didn't really fit what we were doing, and blow up.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. I quit. Just prior to a recording down in San Francisco, this has happened.
Oh, really?
The day before we were going to leave, a drummer quit because we rejected his T-shirt design.
Really?
I'll show them. They're done. They're through without me. But Mike said no problem.
Band has made it 25 years, but one song gone, it's all over.
Well, we told Mike about it, and I was fully expecting Mike to say, okay, we'll have to cancel it. But instead, he said, no problem, I'll just hire another drummer. We went down there and went into a studio, a practice rehearsal studio for a week, and then went in and recorded the album.
Yeah.
Yeah. And funnily enough, that was the album we just got a gold record for.
So you guys kind of showed him then.
Was it locked and loaded, or was it 10,000 shots?
It was locked and loaded.
Huh.
But 10,000 shots is coming up.
Yeah.
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 So the thing about those albums is as soon as they reach that number, it'll happen again.
Yeah.
So, and we've been at it for 25 years. But like I say, it's sort of unfair because the guys that helped to sell that number of records are here now.
Yeah.
And the guys that were on the record that quit the band 10 years ago, they also received a record from Mike, just because they played on it.
Mm-hmm.
But without the diligence of constant touring and constant record sales, that album would never have reached that pinnacle.
Well, exactly. Like if you guys were constantly on the road in Europe, America, Canada, all over the place, like you're not going to reach those numbers. Like people are going to lose interest in you.
Yeah.
Like, for example, last year I did close to 100 shows, and this year I'm gonna break 200.
Oh wow!
Like we were on the road. 3 different trips to Europe this year. 2 different to the States, Canada, obviously. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, and it just.
Yeah, off and on we were on the road for 7 months.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So, like, does it get hard after being on the road 200 days a year?
Trying to keep a family together?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
I know, right?
And one of the things that I'm not going to do anymore is go to the merch booth and take Betty Boop kissy photos with cute girls.
Oh.
They get posted on Facebook the next day. My wife goes ballistic. So it's going to be the arm's length, cold face. Sure, you want a photo? Okay. So no more of that.
Give them the old British guard type thing where you just stand still and.
Well, we'll see. But what I would do before was I'd take them and go cheek to cheek and have them roll their eyes and purse their lips, or kiss my cheeks and stuff. And that can't happen anymore. I'll leave that up to the other guys.
Let them get all the attention, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
If I have to.
Or maybe if you could imagine a cute girl on each side of him, cheek to cheek, and me with my head like photobombing in the background.
We'll make that a thing.
Yeah, that's what's going to be happening now.
We'll make that a thing.
So, and it's good to change. Change is good.
Oh, yeah.
Let somebody else step up to that. I've done it for so long.
Well, even with like the rotating numbers with like the sound of the band, it's like change is good in that aspect too, because it's like it's always new ideas being brought to the forefront.
Exactly.
Well, because my favorite McKenzie's record is Off the Leash.
Yeah.
And when Troy asked me, it was pretty early in the band. And Troy asked me, he's like, hey, the 25th year anniversary album is coming up next year. Would you be interested in like writing a couple of songs? And I was like, yeah, sure, that'd be great. He's like, think Off the Leash. And I'm like, great. Because I love that fucking record. I love it.
It's one of my favorites too.
It's just end to end. There's no filler at all. I love that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Great album.
The Desert Tiger Podcast.
I hold something close which cannot be seen. The last glimpse of light, your eyes shot at me. Though all hands aboard, we shan't leave here free. The flames are too hot, the smoke blinds to see. The waves dampen out, the few remaining screams. Ironically, it's the plank that saves me. They carry the chest that we filled with gold. Caught me surprised, seeing them thrown overboard. I don't know what these ghosts are looking for, but madness fills my head. I watch the flag as it gets stripped and torn. I'll never sail again.
Desert Tiger Podcast.
So, do you guys have any tour must-have item, any comfort thing, like a pleasure thing, like a pillow, or...
Well, I like a pillow.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like down pillows.
Oh.
And nobody smokes in the band.
Nobody smokes in the band?
Well, and if they do, they have to sit up front on the port side. Oh, thank you. On the port side with the window open. If it comes to that. We generally like to have dried fruit and nuts and stuff to graze.
Yeah.
Because quite often we can't stop. If we're doing a major run to the next show, we rarely stop.
There's not a lot of time on the road at all, right?
And road food is poison for the most part. So
I think for me, because I think it shifts between person to person. But for me, my phone has to be charged so I can listen to tunes.
Yeah.
And I have to have some kind of UFO, alien, Loch Ness Monster documentary on my phone too. And then I'm happy. And booze, of course. Yeah, I gotta have a bit on the drive. It's great. Of course.
we have people in the band that would be locally antagonistic constantly.
Yeah.
That's a part of their character. It doesn't happen. It's not conducive to positive energy. Especially, like, take for example, we look at our tour book in Europe when we're first going to start the tour and calculate how much time collectively we're going to spend in the band. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, when you add up all the hours.
Well, even on the last European run, we did 66 shows in 70 days.
Oh, wow.
And those 4 days off were travel days. So...
Yeah, so just trying to get in between places, no real time to rest, no real time to like stop and catch the sights.
Yeah, like one of those days was 19 hours in the van, just gone. Like that was a day off.
Oh wow. Great day off, right?
No, but that's what I would want everybody in this band. Is because everybody would rather be playing shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't get that a lot. I talked to a bunch of different musicians, and I'm not saying it's easy. Touring's a lot of hard work.
It's a
lot of
heart and soul, and trying to keep life balanced in between it all is.
And just trying to
dedication.
And then trying to balance your home life thousands of miles away.
Absolutely. From a 5-minute phone call, maybe once every week, and then it's a lot. It isn't easy, but it's the best. And some people just hate it. Some people can't.
Not everyone's cut out for it. They think they are, but they get a big surprise.
Well, everybody thinks it's all glamour and glitz, and then once you actually get inside a hot van with so many other guys, and it's like for hours on end, and then it's just, oh great, like let's go get our kilts and put them on, even though we played them for the last 6 shows in a row, or 60 shows in a row, and maybe watched them only how many times in between, right? Like
if you have a chance,
or even the time, right?
Yeah.
Like
I said this in another interview when we were in Spain, but there's no assholes in this lineup.
that's very crucial.
And oh man,
Like I said, it's like Christmas every day.
It's a world of difference because then you don't have to be worried about managing how everybody's doing that day, because it's gonna affect the show. If people are fighting, if blah blah blah. If anything's going
Eventually it's just not conducive to a positive environment. And like I say, I'm really thankful to the Rock and Roll Goddess that we got such a great lineup.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's especially after so many years, there's probably been a ton of drama,
Oh, you wouldn't believe it.
like, to go through 100 members, there's got to be a lot of guys that have a lot of ego along the way.
Yeah, I remember there was one time in Calgary, we had to drive to Prince George the next day to make a 4 p.m. show.
And that's a solid, 10, 11-hour drive.
Yeah, the Yellowhead on a 2-lane highway, and it was in the fall.
Yeah.
So I made sure that I went directly to the hotel. I was going to drive directly to the hotel after the show, no partying. Got up at 7. I went to get the guys up next door. And I knock on the door, and the then bass player, who was a complete shit disturber, opens the door on the chain. And here's the kind of guy he was. He had a motorcycle, and he almost got decapitated in an accident.
Ooh.
The insurance company gave him $250,000. He blew it all on cocaine.
Oh, no.
You know what? It was one hell of a weekend, though.
Oh, yeah. I without a doubt.
But anyway, the guy opens
when you
the
wake
door.
up, it's like, oh, man. What happened?
Well, he's a kid that had a self-entitlement. Like, he didn't have to keep that money because his dad was stinking rich. So, but anyway, he opens the door, he goes, and because he had this accident, he's constantly drooling.
Yeah.
And he says to me, "Come on in, McKenzie. I think she's going to do us all." So I said, "Open this door right now." Opens the door. So the guitar player's girlfriend, who was a nurse, is being chased around the suite by 3 of the members of the Real McKenzies. And I said, "What the fuck is going on here?" You know, sober as a judge, 7 in the morning. These guys were up all night doing whatever, chasing a girl around. I says, "Young lady, come here. Here's $20. Take a cab home." She's gone. And so then I says, "You guys, you get your shit together. We're leaving in half an hour." I go up to the guitar player, who they've been pestering all night.
Yeah.
And he, in his sleep, he rolls over and just raises his leg right in my fucking balls. And I double over. He bites through my ear. And I snapped. I started beating the hell out of him. And so, after I put the table on his bed, I says, "Look, all of you guys, half an hour in the van." So I go down to the van, and the drummer is sleeping in the van. And I'm warming up the band, going, whistling a happy little tune like, "Oh, he won't be able to play guitar no more with broken fingers and pencils through his coning of his hand." So the drummer, who was this big, gentle, giant guy who's always trying to get points, goes running up to the room, and he says, I think he's going to kill you. You should hear the stuff that he's saying." So the guitar player, after getting a thorough beating from me, nothing light, it wasn't harmful to his life or anything, it wasn't life-threatening, but he got it. Had he not bitten through my ear, I wouldn't have done it. It just made me snap. And especially with everything else that had been going on for that tour, it just made me remember all the other times he's fucked me over. So he proceeds to call the police. The Calgary police. "Hello, Calgary police. There's someone here that wants to murder me." So I'm in the van. All these sirens are all over the place. I'm like, "Geez, I wonder what's going on."
They're just sitting there humming a tune.
I wonder what's going on. So I walk into the lobby, and here's the guy who instigated all of it, the guy who had his head almost cut off. He's chumming up with the cops. He turns around, sees me, and he says, "There he is, officer. Take him away." Now this is camaraderie, right?
Right.
So they arrested me, and they were going to charge me with attempted murder.
Oh.
And I was in I was in a correctional facility for an undetermined amount of time. These assholes tried to finish the tour
Without you?
Yeah.
What?
So naturally, when I got out, they says, "Okay, well, we're going to do another album." I says, "Are you fucking kidding me? You guys are all fired. You can't fire us." I says, "Oh yeah? Watch me. You're fired." And that was it. But that was a very trying moment for me.
Yeah.
And but we got over it. I got a new lineup and carried on.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, well, obviously you're still alive, still keeping strong and driving on.
Yeah. But, you know, I've learned not to do things like that anymore because it's a new world. You just can't. I mean, it's not the 60s, the 70s, or the 80s, or even the 90s anymore.
Yeah.
It's they have all kinds of profiles out there. What with the internet and all these computery things.
Well, as soon as something gets out, it's like there's a lot of people in mainstream media who won't know who you are, but it's like they'll see like this one thing that got taken out of context.
Yeah, and there were a lot of pocket titans in their mom's basement who are willing to take up the fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. So you have to be really, really careful what you do and say nowadays.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of going against the rock and roll idiom, but like everything else, it changes, and you got to ride with it if you want to do it.
Yeah, truly you do. It's a lifestyle, and it moves with the times, and you have to as well, or else you're going to get left behind by it or swallowed up by it.
Oh yeah, and the political correctness that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, one little slip of the tongue, and they'll pigeonhole you.
All it takes is one person with their camera out at a show, and it can just take everything. I mean, look at Down, where it's like Phil Anselmo. It's like he said one thing at one show, and then like the government of France was threatening to take away funding from festivals that they were on, unless the festival dropped the band entirely.
I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, like it was like a year or two ago. He said he made a remark on stage, which he shouldn't have.
Okay.
And it's basically it. Is like they were supposed to play like France's biggest heavy metal festival that year, and they were supposed to be one of the main bands. And it's literally it. Is like the government of France threatened to take away all the money from the festival. And the festival was going to have to fund everything themselves. Unless they got rid of one
we were
band.
guilty until proven innocent over there. Napoleonic law.
Didn't we play with that?
Yeah.
Was it Resurrection Fest
in
Spain?
Yeah.
I think so. One of the festivals.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them over there, right? Europe is just this entirely different scene.
The thing. Sorry to jump in on that. The thing about the political correctness and stuff is, I'm kind of fine with it with this band, because I don't really have to worry, and I know where their heads are at, and like I know who they are, and there's no hate in their heart. Mm-hmm. And if somebody twists a wrong word or a wrong phrase and stuff like that, you can be butchered in the media and stuff like that. But generally, I'm not really worried about that because we don't have people like that in the band.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's racist or homophobic or blah, 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 anything like that. We're all pretty progressive people. And that's important. And we sing for everybody.
Well, that's good.
Lots of educated people, artists, you know, who actually have a little 5-second delay in their head. Like many a time I've caught myself thinking about what I'm going to say and going like, oh, thank Christ I thought about it before I said it, because you know, there's all sorts of different variables and stuff. So you got to be really careful. Like we're being careful right now, aren't we?
Maybe. Fuck. Piss. Shit. Oh, not again.
Oh no, what are we gonna do? The network's gonna come after me. Oh wait, what network?
What network?
What network?
By the way, everybody out there in computer land, Dan Garrison is celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Dan.
Thank you, Dad.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Okay.
Cheers. Slowly, I did not know that.
The big 5'3" for me this year, so I'm feeling good.
You look very young and chipper for your age.
It's a strict diet of booze and no sleep and singing songs. And that's
sunflower seeds.
And
yes.
I love spits. I love
salt. It's the salt from the sunflower seeds. It's preserved.
I don't know how these guys handle me because in the band, especially in Canada, because the sunflower seeds in Europe, they're not as good as spits. They're just not.
How can you live up, right?
Yeah, you can't match that. Although there's in the States, there's these ones called, because I love dill pickle. It's I think it's for like baseball or something, but it's called Bigs or something like that. And then they have the Vlasic pickle, and they use. And anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I'm just cracking, and I usually get like a Pringles container or something, so it's like dink, dink, as I'm spitting out the shells for hours on end, and these guys are kind enough to let that.
Well, it doesn't bother me as long as you keep the husks off the floor.
Yeah.
That's another thing about this band is we're meticulous. All of the garbage goes into a trash bag.
Yes.
There were
Garbage
times,
in, garbage can. Makes sense.
There were times when the band looked like a gerbil cage. You know, these guys would just throw their garbage on the floor, not give a damn about themselves, or hygiene was the last thing on their list. And that's another thing I'm thankful for with this band. I mean, everybody showers and shaves, brushes their teeth, keeps the garbage off the floor. It's not much to ask.
Yeah.
But, there are some artists and musicians that feel that they're above that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they definitely aren't. I mean, when you're stuck in a van for hours on a time, it gets hard if people aren't being hygienic.
Yeah, and you get sick if you don't wash your hands. Here's a little thing that was taught to me. When you're on tour, you take every opportunity to wash your hands.
Yeah.
Keep your fingers out of your nose and out of your eyes, and you won't get sick. But I've had. Take for example, one of our older bagpipers.
Yeah.
Was staying at our bass player's place, and he's on the couch, and the bass player comes home and goes like, "Oh man, why don't you jump into the shower?" He goes, "Oh no, I've only got 2 weeks left on this tour. I think I'll just wait till I get home." And this is serious.
No way.
Oh yeah, he's serious.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Oh yeah, it really is.
You know what? Yeah, I'm all for doing what you want, but you gotta think about the people around you.
Oh, exactly.
You can wash, never. I don't care. But if you're gonna be beside me for 7 months, I'd like you to do that.
Well,
I'd like you to shower.
Well, I mean,
even
if I miss a shower in the morning and we pull over to a gas station, have a bird bath.
Yeah.
There's a sink, there's some hot water, there's some soap.
Well, we were in this was with another band that I played in. We were in Strathmore. What's right outside of Calgary?
Canmore.
No.
I think it's Strathmore.
Strathmore?
Yeah.
Anyways, and because if you don't have time to shower, like you have to do it somewhere, and you're playing a show, you know what I mean, and you're up and blah blah. So, I'm basically like taking a shower in the sink, but it's not like one of those walking ones. Like there's a bunch of different stalls and blah blah blah, and so I'm just like, all right, shirt goes off first, do what I can. Making everything good. I'm like, all right. Okay, there's nobody out there. Nobody's coming in. Pants go off. I'm doing my best to make it as fast as I can. And this guy with his kid walks right in and looks at me, and I'm just scrubbing away, and then just turns around and walks out back. I'm like, fuck! Oh God!
Well, Danny, that's why it's always good to wear your kilt. Yeah. Because the curtain comes up, and the curtain
Somebody
in the back is still down.
Just drop it.
Mind you, you're still staring at them as you're rubbing down.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, but hygiene is very important on the road. It certainly is. Because I have had band members, especially when you're wearing a kilt every day, and you sweat into it.
It aerates.
Oh, it smells like a fucking barn.
It's pretty bad.
I've had bandmates that are sitting in a bar and people literally walk away from them, and they have a perimeter around them of nobody around. You know the way the kid in the Charlie Brown series, Pigpen.
Yeah.
You know that
Stink
stuff that
lines?
follows him around? Oh yeah. I mean, refracting light. Oh yeah, I've been.
I didn't think we were that bad on the last European tour this year.
We any opportunity we had, we washed our kilts.
It was probably the best in my time in the band this last year. I think everybody was pretty on board with that.
So how long have you been in the band?
My anniversary of 2 years was August 19th.
Okay.
But my anniversary for my first show was November 13th.
Okay.
So yeah, 6 days ago was my
Nice.
first anniversary for the show.
Nice. That's pretty awesome too.
Yeah,
Same
It
week
certainly
as
is,
his
and we're very
birthday.
appreciative.
exactly.
Very appreciative to have him aboard.
It's good, and it's good to see that he is. That he's able to have these opportunities, and it's like to have someone that accepts it and wants to represent your brand in a good manner.
Yeah, I count my blessings every day.
Me too.
So how many members exactly are in the band right now?
6.
6.
7?
7. Because Jono and Peterson switch up.
Oh, right. We have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are 7 members. One of which plays when he has a family.
Okay.
So whenever we can get him out, we do. And but he's an integral member. I've got a great story to tell.
Okay. Please do.
A few years ago, we were in a hotel,
Yeah.
and we wanted to have some cash advances because I think we had a day off or something. So I says, okay, I'll go and get some cash advances for everybody. And for some reason, the manager and the bagpiper had rooms on the other side of the hotel. And so I knock on the door, and it was ajar, so I open it up, and here they are together, and I do mean together, on the couch. And I'm going, oh, sorry guys, I just need a little bit of cash for some advances. The boys want to go. So, of course, they were interrupted, and the manager's like, here, take it. I mean, it's our dough, and here he is. But anyway, so we go and have a good time and come back. We're in the van the next day, and the bagpiper says, yeah, sorry guys, my bagpiping wasn't up to spec yesterday. I'm really sorry. And I look at him and I says, hey man, come on, don't sweat it. These guys don't know, the general public don't know if a bagpipe is in tune or not. It's generally the visual thing that works with them.
Yeah.
And as long as you're playing, it's okay, it'll be okay.
It's
Then he
aesthetic.
breaks down and said, yeah, I know. I didn't know that the guy was doing a gram of cocaine a day. I'm always the last to know these things. But anyway, he
Don't
was
tell
like,
Paul, right?
yeah, I know. Nobody knows. Nobody appreciates it. We're pulling into Milano. The guy opens the door, moving van, 40K, jumps out of the van without his passport, without his money, without any of his gear, just jumps into the city of Milano.
Oh.
And that was the last I saw of him. We go into Milan. We had to play the show without the piper. Luckily, we knew another piper from Galicia who ended up being our permanent piper, Ashby, and he's still our piper now.
Oh, nice.
But he flew from...
He's very professional, dude.
Yeah.
Very professional.
He flew from Madrid to Rome to do us with the show the next night.
Huh.
And we went through the other piper's gear, luckily enough, found all kinds of illicit material that would have had us arrested had we crossed borders with that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just a nightmare. But yeah, I don't know where he is now. I think maybe he's still in Milan.
Somewhere on
Maybe
the
he's a
road.
shepherd in Milan or something. I don't know.
Found some sheep who really appreciated him
Yeah.
for who he was.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd like to stay here all night, but my time is running out.
Hey, fair enough. We've been going for a solid 51 minutes, so if that's all we can get, I'm happy with that.
Cool. Excellent. Well, I'm happy
Thank
with
you
that.
guys so much for joining me.
Okay.
Okay, go.
This is Paul McKenzie, and on behalf of myself and the Real McKenzies, I wish to thank all of our loyal fans and those to be loyal fans who come out to the shows and support us and listen to our stuff. And we realize that without you guys, we're nothing. So thank you.
Okay, so for the people who maybe don't listen to the McKenzies, where can they find you?
We're all over the internet. If you want to check out Bagpipes and Kilts with Rock and Roll, what do they call us? Punk folk? Punk and roll? I don't know what they call us these days. But get on the internet and check it out. You might like it. And we will be in your town or near so very soon. This is Paul McKenzie of the Real McKenzies. Wishing you all a good night. Over and out.
Alright, I want to give a big, a huge, a massive shout out and thank you to Paul McKenzie and Dan Garrison of the Real McKenzies for taking time out of their busy days to join me and give me a fantastic interview. I had a great time talking to them, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. If you want to listen to more of the McKenzies, you can find them on Spotify. You can find some of their music videos on YouTube. You can pick up some of their music on iTunes. And if your local music shop is reputable and deserving of your business, they will probably carry some Real McKenzies records. So maybe you should pick up Two Devils Will Talk and support 25 years of Celtic punk rock antics. You can also find the McKenzies on Facebook, and they also have their own website where you can keep updated on them, and I suggest that you do. We also have to give a big, a massive, a huge shout out to you. That's right, you, the listener of the Desert Tiger podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Whether it's on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, CastBox, Castify, wherever you are, wherever you're from. We are so happy that you turn us on, that you turn us up, and that you listen in weekly to the interviews that we bring you with musicians, athletes, entertainers, comedians, whoever it be. We are so happy that you guys listen in, and if this is your first time listening in, maybe you want to hit that subscribe button, or maybe rate and review the show, because it would help us out so much. Alright, before we get to one more McKenzie song, you know that we have to let you know, A, who's on the show next week, and B, give you a little bit of a motivational quote. So next week on the show, we have Chief State from Vancouver, British Columbia. Chief State is an alternative rock or pop punk band that is bringing the noise. They are bringing the heat, and they just keep attacking everything. They are constantly working their asses off, and you guys should definitely check in next week when we talk to those guys. Alright, and here is our quote. Everything is impossible until someone crazy enough comes along and makes it possible. That is a quote from C.T. Fletcher. No matter what wall, what barrier, what obstacle stands in your way, whether it be physical or mental, everyone has experienced those. It took Thomas Edison 10,000 separate attempts before he was capable of making a light bulb. So don't give up. You never know when the end or when your goal is right around the corner. So keep on trying and you shall achieve what you want to. Alright, our song that we're going to end off our show with is a cover of a modern folk song by Canadian musician Stan Rogers. This is Barrett's Privateers.
Oh, the year was 1778. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. Well, a letter of marque came from the king to the
scummiest vessel I'd ever seen.
God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tear. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
All I'll quit Barrett, cried the town.
How I wish I was in Shorebrook now.
For 20 brave men, all fishermen, who would make up for the Antelope's crew.
God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tear. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
Now the Antelope, she was a sickening sight.
How I wish I was in Shorebrook now.
She'd a list to the port and the sails in rags, and the cook and the scuppers with the shakes and the jags.
God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tear. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
And on the King's birthday we sailed away.
How I wish I was in Shorebrook now.
We were 97 days from Montego Bay. We were pumping like madmen all the way.
God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tear. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
And on the 98th day we sailed again.
How I wish I was in Shorebrook now.
With the big fat American hove in sight, our cracked 4-pounders made to fight.
God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tear. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
Oh, that's Yankee, she lay low with gold.
How I wish I was in Shorebrook now.
She was big and fat and loose at the stays, and to catch her took us 3 whole days.
God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
What at last we stirred 2 cables away.
How I wish I was in Shorebrook now.
Well, that cracked 4-pounders made an awful din, but an American ball come staved us in.
God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tear. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
Now the Antelope shook and she pitched on her side.
How I wish I was in Shorebrook now.
Well, Barrett was smashed like a bowl of eggs, and the main track took off both my legs.
God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tears. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
So here I lay in my 23rd year.
How I wish I was in Shorebrook now.
Well, it's been 6 years since we sailed away, and I just made Halifax yesterday.
God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tear. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. God damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tear. Well, I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier,
And you'll never find a better man for on you.
I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
The Desert Tiger Podcast. Subscribe, rate, and review. iTunes, Google Play Music, and Stitcher. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Thanks for listening.